Hello Starlings, welcome back to Little PsyCrow, or welcome if you are new here. My name is Sienna Skye, and today I would like to talk about the differences between PTSD and C-PTSD. Before venturing into my healing journey, like many, I had only heard of PTSD, which stands for Post-Traumatic Stress Disorder. It wasn't until a few years into trauma therapy that I heard of the name C-PTSD, but I still hadn't been taught what it meant. I don't know why I did, but I drew my own conclusion, thinking that C-PTSD was just a lesser version of PTSD, and maybe that my own trauma wasn't bad enough to meet the criteria to have full PTSD. But that was only due to my lack of understanding something that no one yet had explained to me. Little did I know, my conclusion was actually far from the truth, because the C in C-PTSD stands for complex. So now, PTSD and C-PTSD, or complex post-traumatic stress disorder. What is the difference? PTSD typically develops after a singular traumatic event, such as an accident or an assault or natural disaster, or after a series of said traumatic events. Symptoms often include flashbacks, nightmares, hypervigilance, avoidance of reminders of the trauma, and extreme emotional distress when reminded. C-PTSD develops after prolonged or repeated trauma, especially in cases or situations where that trauma was inescapable, such as childhood abuse, neglect, domestic violence, or captivity. Along with PTSD symptoms, there can also be chronic emotional dysregulation, deep shame and guilt, a fractured sense of self, difficulty trusting or connecting with others. We can also see that although those with PTSD may have something more going on with their minds and bodies as well, it is very common that those with C-PTSD may develop one or more comorbid conditions, which means they exist alongside this diagnosis. These may include, but are not limited to, chronic pain, chronic fatigue, autoimmune disorders, guttural health issues. This happens because trauma doesn't just affect the mind, it affects the whole body. When your nervous system stays in survival mode for long periods of time, it can take a serious toll on your physical health. Other mental health conditions or struggles that are commonly seen with both PTSD and C-PTSD may be depression, anxiety, dissociation and dissociative disorders, substance abuse and addiction, eating disorders, and personality disorders. These are all things I'd love to talk about more in depth, perhaps in another video. So I used to think that C-PTSD meant not bad enough to qualify for PTSD. In reality, it's a result of layered, ongoing, deeply embedded trauma, the kind that doesn't just live in memories, but in the body, emotions, and relationships too. PTSD is a sudden impact or a series of sudden impacts that may change how you see the world and how you live in it. C-PTSD to me is a vast collection of paper cuts that we've collected over the course of many years that change how we view ourselves. And we might go on with life trying to conceal those wounds so we don't bleed out from what we might have been told or even convinced ourselves are merely little paper cuts. But the reality is, we carry deep-rooted trauma that deserves to be seen, heard, validated, and healed. That goes for both those with PTSD and C-PTSD. Your experiences are valid, your pain is real, and there is hope. If you found this video to be helpful in any way, please consider liking, sharing, and maybe stick around and join this community we're building here together. If you'd like to see me dive deeper into any of this, or perhaps you have a topic you'd like me to discuss in another video, please comment below. Finally, if you feel led to support me in any way, there are two options. I am in the process of trying to raise financial support so that I can receive the treatment that I need in my healing journey. You can read my story at the GiveSendGo link that I will post below in the description. I am also officially on Ko-fi? Coffee? This, which is a really cool site where you could buy me a coffee or send a one-time donation towards the Little PsyCrow project and growing this channel and community. Thank you so much for watching, and God bless you all.